we all want to find friends, but we don't really talk about how to find friends, how to keep friends, how to be a friend. And it seems almost impossible to meet young people at church.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about how we do that coming up next.
Hey everyone, we're Drew and Katie together with Catholic Link, helping you reach new heights in your faith. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. And this is one you're going to want to share with a friend.
Or a future friend.
Especially making friends in the church.
Yeah, I think that this is such an important conversation because we all need relationship. We were created not to be alone, but to have friends. And so this reality that our friendships foster and change us, a good conversation can change your DNA. A relationship changes and impacts who you are and how you live out the faith. And so the reality is we need this. But it's hard.
And I just want to, for all the listeners out there who look around and go, man, like there are no young people at my church. I show up, I'm the youngest person by 30 years. It's hard to meet people. I guess.
Or I'm the only one without kids.
Yeah, like I just empathize with that a lot. We've moved, I don't know, every 2 years for the last 10 years and had to find a new parish and start all over. And so we've done this, had to do this a lot. So I feel you.
And I think with that, it's realizing that when I'm walking in, what and how do I make friends? So first tip, pray for friends.
Yeah.
We have prayed for where we are going, and when we are there, for the people who are going to join us, praying for people to come in to our community.
Yeah, especially if you know that you're moving somewhere. Or if you just want friends where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. To bring that desire to God and to know that He wants to give your heart's desires, and He wants you to have virtuous friendships that are drawing Him closer to you. And so bringing that intention and knowing that He will answer that prayer, maybe not exactly in the way that you think it, but that can happen and that He has the power to do that. Second tip, when you are at Mass,
Yes.
look around.
Yep.
I know, focus on the Eucharist, the readings, everything, but take a look around. And at the end, Drew and I were really big on like, we need to sit and to pray and to just soak in this moment, and realized that we will never meet anyone if you pray for a second after Mass. And so acknowledge that like when you look around, especially at the beginning, when you're building these relationships and you're introducing yourself for the very first time, take that look and sprint.
I call this young adult hunting. I'm going to coin that phrase. I'm going to trademark that one day. Young adult hunting. Well, just look around and say, is there someone that is young that you would like to meet? And then after Mass, walk up to them, and I want you to use this phrase. Hi, my name is, and then just say your name. That's how you do it. That's it. I'm serious.
It's serious though. and just being willing to take that initiative. So tip number 3 is when you are the one looking for a friend, I would say you need to be the one to have that initiative.
Yeah.
That it is hard, it is awkward, it is awful. But like waiting for somebody else to walk up to you is probably not going to happen, especially if you're new someplace.
Yeah.
They got their stuff going on. People are very like bubbled
we
into
suck
their
at
own
it
lives.
as Catholics. Like, let's be real. Can I tell a story about our new friends? So we did this recently with some friends, and later they told us that they went back and they said, man, like, thank God for extroverts, because like we would never introduce ourselves. And Katie and I started laughing because we're total introverts. So if you're an introvert out there, you too can do this. I promise.
You can learn this behavior, even if it's hard and awkward. It's only awkward for like a minute, or it results in a friendship that lasts. And then you're so thankful that you did it. And what a gift with that. And so in the willing to initiate. So once you've said, hi, my name is Katie, it's, hey, can I get your phone number? Hey, are you available this week to get together? And then to follow up on that, I think to be the one.
Well, I would say before, maybe just have a conversation with them.
Oh yeah, that's
before
probably
you
a good idea.
Ask where they're from. Like, because so there's probably a reason why you haven't met them yet. So like that can be the interaction. Like, hi, like I just moved here, or are you from here? use that.
Do you typically go to the 9 a.m.?
Yeah. So use that, like, that's the thread, right? That's the that's the conversation starter of, there's a reason why we haven't met, so let's figure out why. And then through that, you can start to get to know them a little more and figure out if they would be willing to grab a coffee, or, or if you see them kind of multiple times on Sunday Mass, and then eventually you can ask if they would want to join a Bible study, or just something like that. Is I think that's your in right there.
And right there, I think it's the being willing, though, to initiate, to invite them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like acknowledging that you might have to text them more than once and not take offense of the fact that they don't instantaneously respond, but to follow up with people, because all of us are busy and all of us have things going on. And as we start a new friendship, it just takes effort and work.
And following up with someone doesn't have to be weird.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, how's it going? Like,
really strange. Yeah. It's just, but also like being willing to invite them over to your home, offer them the food, offer them like the convenience factor.
You'd be amazing how many young adults we've met by offering pizza.
Oh, yes. Yes. So much. just facilitating that to ease their life, to give that gift to them when you are looking for the gift for them to potentially be a future friend. With that, I would also say the next tip, which I think is 4, is vulnerability. You choosing to be vulnerable with somebody is in fact going to allow them to drop their walls. And we have such a desire to put on a mask and to put our best foot forward, to show our best off to somebody, especially when we're meeting them. But then the relationship seems very surface level and very sterile. And sometimes we like give up on it before we've even actually ever committed to telling where we are, and be a hot mess, and to invite them into that hot mess, and to love them in their hot mess. Like, that's the trueness of friendship right there.
I feel like girls' friendships and boys' friendships are a little different.
Maybe.
Okay, but
that's fair.
but there's a good point in that, where there are different types of friendship, different level of friendships. The Greeks talk about this. There's utilitarian friendship, work friendships. But ultimately what we would like to get to is virtuous friendships, is friends who are willing your good, who are helping you grow in virtue, become a better man or woman. And part of that is the vulnerability. And to me, the easiest way to be vulnerable with someone is to ask them to pray for you. So if you were to, you've kind of met this new friend, you've texted a couple times, maybe you've had coffee. If you were to just say, hey, could you pray for me? I'm having a really rough week at work, or my dad was just diagnosed with cancer, or whatever it is. I've never asked someone for them to pray for me and for them to say no or have it be weird. So I don't know, maybe you've got an experience of that. Let us know. But everyone has always just said, yeah, man, I'll pray for you.
Yeah. I think too, in initial friendships, one of the things that can help is an activity. So like asking them to go rock climbing, or asking them to go hiking, or asking like to go and do something that I don't have to fill the whole time with conversation is really nice, because it just eases some of that awkward getting to know each other phase.
And you can work, like, go for a hike and pray a rosary on the way, just kind of like work in some of the faith. But it doesn't have to all be about faith. Guys love shooting guns and going for hikes and
hey, I do too.
Climbing. That's true. You do that too.
But with this, I think too, we often get the question of like, okay, well, there isn't a group at my parish for young adults.
So what does someone do with that?
I think that there are 2 options. It depends kind of your phase of life and where you're at. So right now, as young parents, what's really important for us is to commit to one Mass and form relationships with those people that go to that Mass. Because when we're there consistently, we're seeing those people consistently. So I don't have to ask for your phone number on like the first 3 seconds that I meet you. But I get to know that I'm going to see you next week, and I get to be planted, and I get to like start that relationship, so that after Mass, I've already started to form where we have like 10 families that get together every single Sunday after Mass for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it redeems Mass some weeks after. Oh, that sounds so bad. Mass was incredible and amazing. Parenting in Mass is difficult. And so it's sometimes nice to just come around with other parents and have that fellowship and that support and that camaraderie that we're in this together, and we love the Mass. And then we are doing it even though it's hard. But as a young adult, I think sometimes it might be a good idea to look at the parishes in your community and say, hey, I'm willing to drive 5 extra minutes because this does have a group that I can get plugged into. But let's say that's not an option, which is in a lot of dioceses.
Yep.
in a lot of locations. And if your parishes are spread out, it's not feasible.
Yep.
So once again, committing to where you're at, where God has placed you, with the people God has surrounded you with. And to remember, we don't need a group of 100 people. We don't need this big young adult ministry to have friendship. We need to find one person, 3 people, 12 people would be amazing. Bonus. But really looking for, what are my 3 to 5 people? And walking up to the priest and saying, hey, do you know of like maybe 2 other young girls that are around? Like, like I'd like to start a small group. Might really just be coffee to start off, but like something to start to develop these friendships and to really start looking and realize that there are probably 5 women that attend your parish that probably attend your mass, or men, that also feel the same way. Like, I'm alone. I'm sitting here all by myself. I don't talk to anybody. I show up and I leave, but this isn't like building that community that I desire in my heart.
The last thing I'll say is if you, let's say you just really struggling to find young people, I would offer for you to serve in your parish. So help out with the high school youth group.
Yeah.
Like I think in those little service pieces, that's when you'll start to find others who are like-minded with you. And then you'll start to kind of meet more and more and be able to branch out. So if you're just like, they're literally like, I can't find anyone, then find something that you can serve in. And ultimately you will eventually, and pray for that, and you will eventually find someone who's under the age of 90 to hang out with.
I have no doubt. And our 90-year-olds are awesome mentors, and say hi to them and love them.
Don't forget those people.
Because
awesome.
I don't want to be written off when I'm 90.
True story.
But I get that you want friends your age.
Yeah, it's so nice.
So with that, we will be praying for your ability to develop virtuous friendships. We hope this helps. We hope that it gives you the courage to look around and run after someone, to do some young adult hunting, and to find the people that God has surrounded you with right here, right now.
So happy hunting. God bless.